Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sly here with Flo. And Flo, we heard the news right now. Pete Carroll out as a Seattle Seahawks coach. Now, one guy that looks like he's coming back into the NFL, Jim Harbaugh, former 49ers coach. What do you think, man? It's all over Twitter. The rumors are already out there. What do you think, Jim Harbaugh coming back to the NFC West, going to the Seattle Seahawks, man? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Well, first off, I'm just shocked that Seattle got rid of Pete Carroll. I actually think he overperformed the last couple of seasons because they really had nothing, man. Obviously, when you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to be successful at all. But he still put them in a chance to make the playoffs this year. Last year, did they make it?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they played us.
Yeah, we played in the first round. So I think he overperformed, and, man, I felt like they did him dirty. I'm a big Pete Carroll fan. Even though he was up there in Seattle, me and you obviously were from California.
USC.
He's from San Francisco, and then when we were, well, you still like USC.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was young, I liked USC, and I was right during the Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Pete Carroll era. And so I was always a big fan of him. I wanted the Niners to get him way back in the day, but I'm surprised. But now Jim Harbaugh freaking going to be on their radar. That's a little bit worrisome, just because he's a good coach. When we lost him, we were horrible for a couple of years. Obviously, it was because we had Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly, who weren't the guys, but still, if Jim Harbaugh ends up in our division, that would be rough. And he might do it just because he's one of those guys who carries a chip on his shoulder. So I could see him maybe doing that, but I know there are a few other jobs out there that he may entertain as well. So I know it's not for sure thing, but it's a little bit worrisome. But what do you think?
Yeah, if Seattle comes knocking at his door, will he take it? I think he will, just because he wants to go to an NFC team, because he doesn't want to go to the AFC team because his brother is on the AFC, so he wants to hopefully get another Harbaugh bowl too. Me personally, it does scare me because he's such a damn good coach. Like, it was to me personally, I still have this grudge against Jed York for getting rid of Harbaugh. You know, how could you fire a guy who was 44-19 and trust a little weasel like our GM, I'm drawing a blank right now, Balky. How could you do that, man? It didn't make sense at the time. It still doesn't make sense now. And he just won a national championship. So he's going to want to come back. And I'm really hoping it doesn't happen, because I always root for Jim Harbaugh. When he was with Michigan, I was always rooting for him to get that Super Bowl. Excuse me, the championship. And now he's coming to the NFL. If he goes to two teams, I will not be rooting for Jim Harbaugh. Seattle Seahawks, Las Vegas Raiders. If he goes for those two teams, I'm definitely not going to be rooting for this guy at all. I want him to lose every damn game. But it does scare me, because I know Jim Harbaugh brings that intensity, that Kyle Shanahan does bring too. We saw the podcast with Eric Armstead, and he was talking to Hargrave, and Hargrave's like, damn, man, you guys' practices are hella hard. Like, I came in here like all shook, and then that's how Jim Harbaugh's practices were, man. They were hard ass, cutthroat. And I mean, you got it. You definitely got it. And he was a no-nonsense guy. Remember when Anquan Bolden got in a fight with, who was, I can't even remember. Anquan Bolden was a veteran leader. What did Harbaugh do? He went up to him, get out. You're off the field today. Go. I'm like, dude, that's ballsy right there. We just had coaches out there that were weak sauces. Remember Mike Nolan when Vernon Davis beat the crap out of, who was it, Paris Harrison? Yeah. God rest his soul. Mike Nolan just looked at it. He just walked away like, dude, I'm not gonna say nothing. Like, whatever. Jim Harbaugh, he'd go up to you. He has the balls, So it is worrisome, because it looks like if they get a young wannabe next head big coach, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of these guys. Remember Arizona Cardinals a few years ago? They got that one. Everyone, they called out, he was Rico Suave. Like, tall. They said he was like good looking, like a model. Oh, he's the next big thing. He was from Texas Tech. Man, that guy sucked, man. So if he gets one of those young guys, I'm not even tripping about it. But if he gets someone like Jim Harbaugh, I'm a little bit concerned, because he turns quarterbacks like who are Alex Smith, and he gets them better, man. So he's done it everywhere he's gone, man. The quarterback McCarthy from the Michigan Wolverines, they're talking about this guy being a top 10 player, man, top 10 pick. I'm like, how in the hell is this guy McCarthy a top 10 player in the end, going to the NFL? It was Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was making this guy look good. And personally, I see bust written all over it, but he always does that. He did the same thing with your boy Josh Johnson when he was with San Diego State. He should have never been an NFL quarterback, but he made Josh Johnson an undefeated player. He gets drafted. He was in the league for like 10 plus years. So he does it over and over. He makes all these quarterbacks. I think he could make Geno Smith's career elevate to that next level too. He's like the quarterback whisperer. Who's that dude? That dude from the dog whisperer, Caesar. That's freaking Harbaugh, man. So it does concern me. I'm really hoping that he doesn't go to Seahawks, but I mean, right now there's about 7-8 teams. If you think about it, it's going to cut down in half to just NFC teams. You probably got Chicago Bears, Seattle Seahawks. Who else is out there? I'm trying to think of an NFC team. Titans or AFC.
I don't know if Carolina will stay with their guy.
They fired him.
Oh, so Carolina.
Yeah, they fired Wright. Oh, they're not going to keep that new guy too. So yeah, but I don't think he'll go to Carolina. I think it's come down to two teams, man. Pretty much Chicago but also the AFC Chargers, but they're AFC. So
yeah.
I think it's come down to two teams, man. And I'm a little nervous because I know that he's in a high demand right now. Just won the championship. So I mean, it's just going to be such an epic battle with two great coaches, Kyle Shanahan, Jim Harbaugh, and I'm already thinking about that. I need to focus on the playoffs because, that's what's coming up right now. But having this, man, there's going to be so much to talk about, so much little Easter eggs that these guys say, especially Jim Harbaugh, man. He says some funny-ass shit, and he's not afraid, so I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped, but a little nervous.
Yeah. I was pumped at first when I saw they had got rid of Pete Carroll because I was like, okay, they're going to end up in that kind of purgatory that we ended up when we lost Harbaugh. But then when you were saying Harbaugh might end up going to them, and the two things you addressed was pretty much the two things that worried about me. He gives those quarterbacks confidence, and that competition he has in his practices. Pete Carroll did that. That's why Pete Carroll's so successful. He always had freaking competition at every position. Jim Harbaugh did the exact same thing, and that's why they were competitive. That's why they were competitive with each other too. So if he ends up back in the NFC West, that'll be a little worrisome. Obviously, they're still probably a little bit a ways because they have a younger team, but you don't want them to get ahead of the process earlier. And I think Jim Harbaugh would be able to expedite their kind of success rate.
And I see it like this. I think the reason they got rid of Pete Carroll, even though he seems like very high energy guy still, he's 72 years old. I think maybe that had a factor to do with it, that he's a little older. Jim Harbaugh, he's 12 years younger. He's just turned 60. So that was the same age where Pete Carroll had his big success, 2012 and all that. So that's probably why he's a little older. And Jim Harbaugh has a little bit more youth to him, but still, man, I feel that you're right. It was a little dirty. I think he should stay at least a year. He was overachieving with these guys, but you know what? Seattle does have some talent at cornerback. It looks really good. Witherspoon or whatever. That guy's really good. And Kobe Bryant. They have some good young talent. And Jim Harbaugh, he gets the best out of everybody. He's gonna have that intense. Pete Carroll's more of like hoorah rah. Whatever, Jim Harbaugh, man, he's up on your ass like, come on, buddy, let's get it. But he's a player's coach. Players do love him, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, man. I can't wait to see who they pick up. Hopefully, it's not Jim Harbaugh because he'll have to be enemy number one, and that's someone who I really love. And if they said you want it, he's gonna come back. He's gonna have a picture of Jed York and be like, yeah, I'm ready, baby. So it should be interesting, man.
All right, well, you guys let us know in the comments what you guys think about Pete Carroll's out and Jim Harbaugh potentially returning to the NFC West. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. See y'all next time.
Peace.